Well, hello, it's Jacqueline here for my cooking class. Welcome to Thursday. So excited. We'll just wait for a minute or two here while we're waiting for a few guests to come join us. When you do get in, make sure you share where you're chiming in from. Curious, United States, Canada, or elsewhere. Today, what we're going to do is our cooking class is going to be all about mulling spice. One of the perks of being a leader with our company is they actually send us things to showcase. And of course, you guys are probably very familiar with mulled wine, mulled juice, but I'm actually going to be cooking with it today, as well as making some great beverages. So I hope you're ready for this. Have you tried the mulling spice yet? So post where you're chiming in from. Love to know where you are. And if you have any questions, I will try to read that, but as it scrolls, it goes very quickly. So let's get started. So let's give a little bit of fun food facts about mulling spice in particular. I'm going to give you fun food facts about our product. First off, it's 100% organic, including the unbleached tea bag, and I'm going to talk about that. So it's got organic cinnamon bark, organic orange peels, organic cloves, organic allspice fruit, organic star anise fruit, and organic green anise seeds. Wow, organic all the way. Hey Linda, great to see you. Now, here's an alarming thing. I'm going to show you this. This is how our tea bags come. They come individually wrapped, which is great because it keeps the flavor really good. But I don't know if you've noticed, tea bags out there, some of them are plastic, or they're those beautiful silk ones. You've maybe seen them. Have any of you seen those silk ones? Maybe shaped like a triangle. Okay, there was a scientist who actually took a look at those silk tea bags and took it into a lab. Are you ready for this? Some silk tea bags, when they're put into hot water to steep with your tea, are releasing 11.6 billion microplastics. 11.6 billion. Now, you have to understand, microplastics are the size of dust. But not only that, there is also 3.6, I believe it was, of nanoplastics. Now, you might be saying, okay, they're the size of dust, it probably doesn't really matter. Well, hey, there's a saying, mind your pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves. And what I'm trying to say is if we all jump on the silk bandwagon, chances are there's going to be more plastic that we're releasing than we want. So I want to introduce you to our unbleached tea bags, and they actually have the mulled spice right in it. Okay, so let's get started with making our mulled wine. Now, surprise, surprise, you guys are never going to believe this. I had leftover wine from my Halloween party. So anyway, I am going to actually use this wine up today. Because it sat, I pumped out the air, just so you know. But I'm basically going to pour the rest in here. Now, I didn't measure it because there's actually a measuring cup built right into this multi-purpose pot. So actually the measuring graduations are stamped right in here. And this is just shy of 2 cups. Perfect, okay? I'm not opening another bottle. I'm just trying to use up what I've already got. So when you do your mulled wine or juice, mulled wine in particular, you want to make sure that you do not boil your wine, because if you boil your wine, it will become bitter. No one likes bitter wine. Well, maybe they do, but I certainly don't. What do you guys think? Okay, so for the volume that I'm putting in here, and of course, there's like just shy of 2 cups. That's not enough for 2 of us to enjoy our evening. I'm going to be adding more to this. Okay, so I'm going to be using 2 tea bags here of our mulling spice. Let's set that aside. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some juice. Now you could put in cranberry juice if you like it more tart, or my husband loves sweets. You know where I'm going with this. I'm adding apple juice. This is organic apple juice. I sort of thought I'll just stick on the same range. When you're buying apple juice, don't buy apple juice that has additional sugar in it. Look for the natural, pure juice. And yes, it does go on sale. And when it does, buy some. You'll want to make this recipe again and again and again. Okay, so the other thing, if you saw my video, I was making maraschino cherries and I had no liqueur. Anyway, I wanted to put brandy in this today because it's actually quite cold. It's like 4 degrees. There's no snow yet, but mulled wine was created by the Romans when they started exploring, and they were going into Europe, and of course it's colder and whatever, so they heated their wine. This is how it all happened. It's a 2nd century recipe, really. Anyway, so you can doctor it however you want. Brandy wise, I just have the smallest little skiff of this liqueur, which is a cherry liqueur. And I'm roughly going to put in about 1/4 cup. I probably should have measured, but honestly, this is so good. I can eyeball it. The nice thing about cooking is it's not like you're baking. You don't have to be exact. If you did want to be exact, you'd probably want to use our prep bowl, because this actually has measurings built right in here. 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, 3/4 cup. To the top is a cup. And for the volume that I'm doing, I would recommend about 1/4 cup, okay? It's just enough for 2 of us to drink. Now, we're just going to let this steep a little bit. Now, I want to add some extra orange. Orange always looks nice. As you know, or you may not know, I just came back from Africa. This is an African orange, and I want to tell you, when I was over in Africa, I had their oranges, and their oranges are amazing. Even though this is a South African orange, it definitely tastes different because it comes a slow boat across the ocean. You can only imagine how much better, considering they are great, how much better they are if you get them right from the fields on their trees. So I'm just going to cut this with our ceramic knife. And I just made a couple really thin little slices. I'm putting them into 1/4 because it'll actually fit into my wine cup better, and that'll add just a little bit of extra flavor. Now, if you wanted to put in this, you can. Just make sure whenever you're doing your fruit that you wash them really well, okay? So if you wanted to add that, certainly go ahead. Don't waste anything. All right, so we're just going to let that simmer. I've got it at 4. It's just going to warm up. It's going to be absolutely perfect. Before I move on to the next part, I want to talk to you about this. Now, as we go into the holiday season, this is baked apple. This is actually, it's called a sweet dip mix. And you know me, I break every rule there possibly is, which is why I love being my own boss, because I'm not going to use it as a sweet dip. I've got a nice little flat saucer. This was our little appy plates if you happen to grab them. And when you buy your sea salt, they come with the, you can get them with the grinder. Never throw them out because they do come with refills. But if you clean this off, and I keep this as a spare, they actually fit perfectly on to our spice jars, in our little ones as well, right? So I'm just going to finely grind some of our baked apple on here. It's a nice fine grind. Just so you know, you can adjust how fine or coarse it is by just twisting that top, okay? Now, I've got a glass here. I am just going to run the rim around this orange. And I'm just going to push this around on this plate. And you can see I'm rimming my wine glass, right? Joy-filled. It will be joy-filled once I get done. And if you have any cinnamon sticks, this is always really nice to have as well. So, okay, so let's set that aside. Let's get on to cooking with our mulling spice. I've got our saute pan going here. And this is our 4-cup prep bowl. And what I've got here is chicken. So what we want to do is we want to get our pan heated up here. And I'm going to get this to about medium high. And we're going to add a little bit of oil in here. You can use vegetable oil, you can use olive oil, any oil that you've got. Just going to show you if you want to save on calories, and I'm just thinking, of course I didn't pull it out, let's see if we can find it handy. Our basting brush. This is really nice because if you're just putting a little bit of oil in here, it's really nice to use this basting brush and just spread your oil around. We want this to get hot. This is an induction stove, so it will heat up quite quickly. And when we put our chicken in there, it's really important that we season it. So you can, because I'm going to be putting flavor in here, the mulling spice flavor, we're just going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on it. So I can already feel the heat cracking on this. Got our mold in the background. And I'm going to use our grip and grab tongs. And I have butterflied these. Now, one of the reasons I've butterflied my chicken, if you don't know what butterflied means, I buy chicken breasts on sale. And I don't know what they feed those chickens, but I'm gonna tell you, those chicken breasts are really thick. And so I am cooking quicker because I'm doing this cooking class. You may want to consider slicing them in half. That way they will cook up more even. Of course, we've got the little fillet there. And our other chicken breast. Okay, like I said, we're gonna make sure we season this. This is our black pepper. And of course, we're gonna put our salt. Now there's different types of salt. You can put just regular sea salt like I'm putting on today, or you can do our garlic sea salt. I thought just the regular salt might be best, considering I'm putting the mulling flavoring in here. Okay, and we're just gonna cook this up. So let me tell you a little bit more about the mulled wine. Okay, so as I mentioned before, Romans went across and were exploring, and they needed to heat up their wine to warm them up, and because it's getting colder outside now, it's a really good time to be thinking about doing this. So, of course, the drink grew in popularity. So it went into, of course, the more northern European countries, and they fell in love with it. In fact, if you're from Germany or you've gone to Germany, you're going to notice that they have a hot wine drink, and it's called Wassail. Wassail, okay? Now, in England, of course, they were introduced to it as well, and for them, it's a harvest drink. I didn't really find a name for it, but this is a celebration of harvest time, apples in particular. So when you're making mulling spice, you may want to throw apples in there. And on that note, mulling spice doesn't just have to be in cold weather. This flavoring is absolutely fantastic to make sangrias. So have extra on hand when you buy this because it makes great sangrias in the summer. Anyway, so of course in England, like I said, they would use it for good fortune for the great apple harvest season. Now, you can make, as I mentioned, we're doing it with wine and with apple juice today, but you could use cranberry juice. But I mentioned sangria. You can also make cider, so apple cider. Did you know that you can also, of course, just make mulling spice tea? Or, yes, believe it or not, my assistant told me beer, mulled beer. How do you do that? Okay, and I said exactly that. How do I do that? And she said, what you do is you add honey and lemon juice to it, and you steep your beer. And she said, it is absolutely delicious. So Tina, if you're watching this, go try mulled beer. I'm going to try it. I think it's going to be really cool. Okay, so I'm just noticing my mulled wine is sitting up there. Getting a little bubbly. I don't want it boiling, so I'm just going to turn the temperature down a bit here. We just want it to simmer. Stirring it, you might want to consider our sauté spoon. There you go. And we're just going to let that simmer some more. Okay, so our chicken roughly is done on one side. We're just going to flip it over. and brown this as well. So what else can I tell you about mulling spice? Well, if you go to my website, jmflavors.com, I actually made, and I'm going to make it again because I've got some leftover Concord grapes from my Halloween party. And I won't throw it out. And I was thinking, what can I make with it? I actually have a recipe that I did in 2018. Did you know that you could cook with grapes? You can actually cook them. So I had, in 2018, made a really great recipe that sauteed grapes. So I am going to be using my grapes, using mulling spice. Go check out that recipe. You might even see me replay it in the next couple weeks because honestly, I didn't know that you could cook grapes. I just thought you ate them cold or froze them to throw in your wine so it didn't dilute it. So let's just get this going a little bit more. Okay, now, what else can I tell you about mulled wine? Okay, so mulling spice, like I said, you can use this year-round. Make sure when you are purchasing your tea, look for the unbleached tea bags. And on that note, because I rimmed my jar, and you can rim your glasses with our sweet dips. So we've got summerberry, we've got the cran apple, we've got the baked apple. This one I noticed in Canada is in our low inventory. That means if this is something you want, you need to purchase it today because I don't know how long it's going to last. Okay? Let me pull that off here. Okay, and this is going good. Just going to pump this up a little bit more. So any questions so far? Have you tried our mulled wine? Okay, so my chicken's almost done. This one takes a little bit longer, I can see. But we want it to be nicely brown, right? Because then you get the caramelization. And we're already at 315, and I'm just sitting here waiting for it to cook. This is such an easy recipe. Now, when we've got my chicken browned, what we're going to do is we're going to add some flavor. So the flavor that I'm going to add to this is orange juice because somehow I have to get the flavor that's packed inside here into my meat. Okay? Now, you could, if you wanted to, open your spice out of your package. I wouldn't recommend it because actually the strainer is built right in here. So we're just literally going to put this in. Measuring wise, if you're wondering how much is in each little package, okay, I did measure it out, and it's roughly a teaspoon of seasoning, okay? All right, so we are ready. So now what we're going to do, my chicken is cooked. Getting that brown caramelization, which I love, love, love. We're just going to pour in our orange juice. We're going to put in our little bag of mulling spice. Make sure that that is in there, and you're just going to let this soak and all that flavor. If you were here, you can actually smell the cinnamon and the allspice and the orange peel. Like I can smell it all. So this is going to, I want to reduce this a little bit. I'm not going to stay on the whole time here with you, I don't think. But we're just going to reduce the orange so it becomes a little bit thicker. So it releases some of the flavor here. What you may want to do to make it look pretty, if you have any cranberries, you might just want to throw these in as well. That'll look really nice on your plate. And when you do serve it, what I would recommend, so it's a nice balanced meal, is pull out your lettuce. Just to make it decorative, I've got some cherry tomatoes on here. I had, of course, because of Halloween, I had bought these beautiful blackberries, which are delicious. And we're just gonna plate our chicken on the side. Okay, so that will be coming up really soon. Okay, so this is now, just turn this one off. This is now steeped. I can smell it. It smells beautiful. Now, the reason you love this multi-purpose pot is because it's got a pouring spout. trust me, if you have a regular pot and you're trying to pour into a cup, it pours the whole width of your saucepan. This, because it's got the pouring spout, will actually hit your cup. This is a perfect pot for, of course, hot chocolate, so on and so forth, okay? So I do not want to use that because that had chicken on it. Let me grab another one. Something, just grab a fork maybe. And we're just going to pop an orange in there to make it look pretty. And that is your drink, okay? Your mulled wine or juice or beer or tea. Okay, so get back in here again. You can see that my orange is getting a little bit thicker. If you wanted like a sauce, you may want to consider, actually, I'm gonna showcase this right now as I'm thinking about it. We have, let's see if I can find it quickly. I was just using it the other day. We have a really, really delicious, there it is, hang on a second guys, a herb gravy. This is a gluten-free option. And what you may want to do if you want to make this like a sauce, and I'm thinking about it as I'm doing this, why not? Just add a little bit of the savory herb gravy into your pan. Now, make sure that it doesn't have lumps. Sorry, I turned things away on you. Make sure you give it a quick little stir. That will thicken your sauce as well. And you can see that my cranberries have now sort of popped. So it's gonna give some extra flavor. Perfect. Okay guys, I think I'm ready to showcase what this is going to look like. My sauce has gotten a little bit thicker. I don't want it too thick. I don't want it to be like a gravy, but I do want it to have some sort of substance. So it actually, there we go. Looks really nice on your plate. And we're just going to grab one of these chicken breasts here. Set it on the side. We'll put an extra little piece here. Get a spoon maybe. Where's my saute spoon? And then I would just grab some of this juice and cranberries and just flavor it on top. This is my husband's dinner tonight. There you go. How quick was that? Now, have you ever thought of actually using mulling spice for a savory? And just so you know the flavor, because I'm not staying for this dinner. I'm going out with a girlfriend for her birthday. I'm just gonna try a little piece. Excuse me eating. Delicious, guys. You have to try this. Leslie, it is so good. And I'm going to tell you, adding that orange in there, orange is like, it's a citrus, so it marinates your meat. This is so darn tender that it cooked in that. And of course, the little cranberries on top, it just makes it look really festive. So guys, there's your cooking class for today. Remember, mulling spice, use it multiple ways. And if you're looking for something to actually rim your glasses, check out our baked apple. As I mentioned, this is in low supply right now. You may want to grab it while it's here. So enjoy, guys. I think I'm gonna go have some mulled wine now. Thanks for popping in. Yum. And I hope you come back again next Thursday. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.